You know, you'd really think that it'd be harder to write a story in which all of the main characters start off dead. Fantasy genre has gotten really weird lately. Hello everyone, welcome to the Book Cafe, where we review fiction, talk fantasy, and interview industry professionals. If this is your first time watching this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you're a veteran, welcome back. Today I'm excited to be talking about a series that's a little bit more obscure. Neil Shusterman's Everlost, the first book of the Skinjacker trilogy. And while that is a terrible title for a book series, the series itself is very good. Everlost is about two preteens, Nick and Allie, who die in a car accident at the beginning of the book. They wake up in a world in between the real world and the afterlife, a place called the Everlost, which is full of those who've died but can't move on. The ghosts. With one caveat. Every single ghost is a child. It turns out that for some reason, adults never get stuck between the worlds. Whenever an adult passes away, they always make it to the afterlife. There's something about children that every so often will bind one of them to the living world. So Nick and Allie find themselves in a situation reminiscent of Lord of the Flies, with dangers that no living human has ever had to face. The thing about ghosts is that they're intangible, even in the Everlost. The only way to stop from sinking to the center of the earth is to find places where people have died. Those are the only places where the ground is solid. Food is scarce, and while none of the ghosts can actually die of hunger, every child in the Everlost is slowly starving, as well as desperate to taste anything. Into all of this steps Mary, the queen mother of the Twin Towers. She died when she was only 12, but she's been dead for longer than most children in the Everlost. And she's built a community of refugees that's kind of post-apocalyptic, but they all look after each other. Allie and Nick are immensely valuable to her because each of them has a unique ability. Allie is a skinjacker. She can touch the living world and possess living beings. Nick happened to have chocolate on his face when he died, and so by the rules of the Everlost is capable of producing infinite amounts of chocolate, making him the most valuable resource east of the Mississippi River. The problem comes when they find out that Mary, even though she truly does care about her charges, is not entirely on the level. She's so terrified of the true afterlife that she's been preventing the children under her care from passing on, destroying the knowledge of how to do so, and keeping every ghost child trapped in the Everlost with her as they slowly lose their individuality. In order to free Mary's subjects and help them move on to the true afterlife, Nick and Allie are forced to declare war. Everlost is a very strange book and a very strange series. The entire world of the Everlost is like a geographic and cultural uncanny valley. Everything is just close enough to what it's supposed to be that you get this subtle feeling of things being wrong. And at the same time, it feels like a very fairy tale world. The Everlost warps based on memory and belief. Given that the entire population is made of children, any rumor or legend that gets started anywhere eventually becomes true simply by the power of collective belief. And the cultural disconnect of all of these kids trying to emulate cultures that they don't quite understand or remember is played really well. There's one very memorable character who died in the 30s and tries to organize his society like the Chicago mob. And for a time that works, but he doesn't realize exactly how out of his depth he is when he gets caught in the crossfire between the two factions. Mary is a fantastic villain. You can see exactly why she does what she does. She's sympathetic. In a way, you want to root for her. And she's a master manipulator who isn't afraid to destroy the reputations of innocent people in order to protect what she thinks is hers. Nick, in contrast, is a very Batman-like character who knows that pretty much the entire Everlost is afraid of him and is willing to use that as a weapon to leverage that terror towards the side of good. That said, my favorite character is the McGill. He is the most feared creature in the entirety of the Everlost. Supposedly, he's the only thing that can kill a ghost. Book 1 presents him as this absolute monster, and then you find out that it's because he doesn't know anything else, because he believes that he is as terrible inside as he is on the outside. And the romance arc that develops between him and Allie is, you can see that they're still children, but there's something very pure and sweet about it. Each book in the Skinjackers trilogy is slightly weirder than the one before it, to the point where the third book very nearly jumps a couple of sharks. But because the weirdness gets built up over the course of the plot, it manages to stay believable. I really liked these books, and I would rate them at buy it new. Some of Shusterman's novels are not necessarily the best, but I found Skinjackers to be well written, a good plot, and fascinating characters. So if you get the chance, you should check it out. What do you think? Have you read Everlost? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to show it by clicking on the like button. Click here on the dragon to subscribe, and here for more videos like this from the Book Cafe. I haven't decided what I'm going to be reviewing yet for Wednesday, but I will be updating on Wednesday. Check my Instagram and my Twitter to find out ahead of time. Until then, read good fantasy.